So we have already seen that how we can set up this project for online quiz project for JSP. So it's very simple. You have to just create a web project inside your IDE with Java EE version, Enterprise Edition version. I'm going to use your Oracle database, Glassfish server for all database connections, then deployment on the server. So before proceeding, I'm going to tell the some important part regarding to this. So what I created, I changed the index.html for the loading page, loading landing page. I will add also here landing page. So this is our landing page. I also added some bootstrap CSS and then some images here already, and I changed this part. So as you can see, for admin login JSP we have to create and student login. So in this session we are going to see how we can do this. So this is very simple HTML, and just I added bootstrap and CSS. You can see when things are created here in websites and everything. You can see here source packages, then all things, libraries also I added some, and all things related to this part. So this is all about how we can create index.html or how we can set up our project. But before proceeding with our project, I'm going to specify some simple Java servlet concepts and some JSP concepts also. So let us see what is the Java servlet. So Java servlet is nothing but a technology in a Java which used to create web application. So servlet is a Java API, which is application program interface basically, which provides many interfaces and classes, including with the documentation part and everything. So servlet documentation is already written. So what is the Java servlet? So you have written HTML code and you want to put the data from that database. Means you have to put HTML form data or your anything on the front end part to back end, or you have to part to the server. So for writing a logic behind this, we are going to use your Java servlet. So servlet is an interface must be implemented for creating any servlet, and servlet is also class which extends the capabilities of the servers which respond requests. So you can see we already server is running on the request and response types. Similarly, servlet helps server to improve this regarding like databases and HTML part. So servlet is a web component that deployed on the server, not on your client machine. It's deployed on the server part to create dynamic web pages. So what is a static and dynamic web pages? Static means we are watching some part and it's static. There is nothing is changing, or you can see table is not showing contents again and again. It's not updating. So it's static. Like you have created one university information page, it is static. You have showing the car information page, it's static. But if you want to add some part in that information using not using only HTML code, you have to use some simple text editor, or I can say on the website itself you have to write. You are going to say it's a dynamic web pages, it's updating. So it's dynamic web pages. So how servlet works actually? So servlet works on request and response. Client sends response to server, and server response generated and it's moved to the client. So it's just like a copy of that part and sent to the client. So servlet uses request dispatcher. So request dispatcher is a interface provides the facility of dispatching request from another source, HTML servlet or JSP. So what is a JSP basically? JSP is a Java servlet pages, as you can see. So JSP contains all the things. In further part, I am going to show the servlet and JSP part also. But before that, what is the difference between servlet and JSP is servlets are pure Java codes. There is nothing inside this. Like you can add HTML codes without that part, but JSP and servlet are both different. So servlet is just for connection, but more than JSP you can visualize, you can create design also using CSS and HTML. So this is an interface also used to include contents from another resources. So it's a one way of servlet collaboration, or you can say there are two methods, forward and include. Forward request from servlet to another resource, or includes to content of resource. Like you have to add into the same resource, you have to use include method, or you want to forward it to something, you have to use forward method. Then as I told you, forward, like for forward method, request is generated, it's sent to servlet 1, created the response. Forward method sends to servlet 2, I can say, or I can say JSP or anything. It generates another response and send to the client. Similarly, for the include method, what is done? It's again servlets 2 are created. Two servlets are created, or I can say two HTMLs are created, or two HTML statements we can create, which includes in the same page. Response is generate, same response as this, and send to the client. So servlet important parts are HTML, CSS, JS as front end, Java servlet program for backend and logical method, web.xml for control flow. That's it for the servlet important parts. So as you can, if you have seen the servlet codes, you can see HTML is added inside Java. Okay, HTML is added inside Java. In JSP, what is we are going to? It's a Java language inside HTML pages. So you can see it's like a scripted language, but it's pure Java language. So Java servlet pages. So JSP's technology is used to create web application just like servlet technology. But what is the difference between these are? Servlets are only Java codes, but JSP has HTML codes which contains some Java language. So it can be thought of extension of servlet, you can say, but it provides more functionality than servlet, such as some expression languages. JSTL, there are some JSTL technology also you can use. So JSP page contains HTML tags, some JSP tags. Also JSP pages are easier to maintain. You have to always remember that these are very easier to maintain. You no need to check for every step again and again in JSP, and it provides some additional features like expression language and custom tags. So let us see how we can create JSP page inside our IDE. So this is my IDE I already created. So source packages contains all the Java packages, but before that, go to the web pages. Here just right click here, click new, and you can see JSP here, JSP. Hope you can see the JSP part here. Once you right click here, click new and JSP. Click here, you can see all the entity class, but choose JSP part. So specify the name for this. Once that, another dialog box is basically created when you are doing this. So for me, let me close this and let me check what is I'm going to create. Okay, I'm going to copy this part basically because my name is this. Once this is done, you have to put this on. Okay, web pages, standard syntax, create JSP. You have to choose nothing. Then click finish. So it will take time to create one JSP page. As you can see, JSP page is created. Let me cancel this because, and okay. So this is our JSP page. Let us first build our project. Let us see how it's clean and build first. Then I am going to change here because I want to create some login form, we can say I want to create here. So let us first clean and build. if your window is not showing, output window is not showing, go to this and click output. You can see build is successful. Now let us run our project. So it will take time to load the Glassfish server first time when you are entering the first time, because Java hotspot server VM is running. So it takes time to load that server and deploy all the pages on that server. But once it is done, no need to again and again executing this in the JSP. As we are doing in a Java servlet, we have to again and again build that part. No need to build that part again and again in JSP, as I'm telling. Just one time build, and just you have to add your code. Then after all things are done, just click final run and you can check. So as you can see, it's taking time to load. So as you can see, all things are deploying. So once it is done, you can see our quiz portal is deployed. You may face the delay of this loading, because what I did, I'm using these images using through URL, and I'm also adding some CSS. So we already created this student page. So once you click this, you can see the JSP page is loaded here, hello world, which we already created here, as you can see. So this is our JSP page we already created. So I'm going to change the code here, and I'm going to explain also that part. So remember, JSP is sometimes slow than Java servlet, but as you can see, we can add some exciting animations and things inside JSP, as we have some power to change HTML codes using JSP. So let us see how I'm going to change this part. So let me delete this first, and this is remains for comment part only. So I'm just, due to time constraint, I'm going to just use uh, first I made a code another file. So I will explain that code, but due to time constraint, I'm not going to print. It's very taking time taking part. So as you can see, HTML, these are the HTML codes only. Let me save this part. Okay. So these are the HTML codes only. This is Bootstrap CSS I'm adding and everything, because for that purpose I told you, for UI purpose. Then this is all about the CSS thing over, and this with student login. So what is this? This is body tag, and with this, what I'm going to, it's going the request.get parameter for the message part. It's shown in the red, and this shown in the gray. So this is all about the part for your username is invalid, your username is valid. So after this part is done, I'm going to specify message later to put this part. So important part is this actually. This is form action, this is validate students, and what is this OES? So I'm going to create that part with validate student. So this action, just I'm specifying this controller and everything, but I'm going to change that part, because for previous purpose I just created this, but later I will change that also. So validate student and all things here you can change as your requirement. So this is all about this, and this is the location basically. Now what is the location href? Which is basically on click event to exit that part. So let us see what is deployed part there now. Let me open the Chrome and click reload. So let us go to the login page here. So as you can see, our student login is done. Once I click exit, what is happening? It's going to the first page only. Now let us log in again. So it's not, I haven't created the further page here. So if you put name, your this, it will show your user ID and password. So this is all about the student login. In further videos, I'm going to tell you the JSP basics, then how we can create administrative page also, and some more information about JSP. And once JSP is done, I'm going to use some Java codes also to validate. As you can see here, I'm using directly this validate student. So I have to use some methods, validate students and things to create and validate that part also.